Miss Stella's Meza. On today's episode, we're going to go a little bit off the beaten path. We're going to try a Thanksgiving recipe that is always found on my Thanksgiving table. And this is a recipe that I learned when I came here some 15 years ago. And it is called a sweet potato souffle. And this is delicious. So I will tell you exactly what you'll need. Over here, I went ahead and grated 2 large sweet potatoes. And I use the end of this grater that has the bigger holes. And then you will need some condensed milk. Make sure it's evaporated milk. I'm sorry, not sweetened condensed milk, but evaporated milk. That's the kind of milk I use. You will need 2 eggs. You will need the rind of the zest of 1 orange. So I went ahead and zested the orange. Now be very careful when you're zesting the orange not to get to the white part of the orange, because that's very bitter and you don't want your food to taste bitter. And I have here a pinch of salt. And I have here 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon powder. And then I have 3/4 cup of sugar. I have a third cup of butter. And I have here some vanilla. You will need a teaspoon of vanilla. And then the fun part comes with putting the topping on. Now what you'll need, over here I have some mini marshmallows. And I'm going to use, not all this, but just a little bit. And I'll show you when we get to that part just how much to use. Over here is a topping, which makes it nice and crusty and caramelized and delicious. I have here a 1/3 cup of light brown sugar. Okay. And then I have here a 1/3 cup of roughly chopped pecans. And I also have here a 1/3 cup of melted butter that I poured in here. And I have a 1/3 cup of sweetened coconut that you can find in the bacon aisle. Okay, so what I'll go ahead and do is start assembling our dish. But first I'll beat this eggs real quick, because that'll go, you need it roughly beaten. You just use a whisk. Okay, because that needs to go into the mixture. And this is very light kind of sweet potato dish. Like the texture is very airy. And that's the reason why I like to grate mine, as opposed to cutting or like boiling a whole sweet potato and then mashing it. I like to grate mine so it cooks up and it's nice and fluffy when you eat it. Okay, so I'm going to empty, and you'll also need a baking pan of this size. Okay, that's what you're going to put your potatoes in. So it's a one kind of dish recipe. You mix everything in one place. So I'm going to take the sweet potatoes. Kind of looks like carrots, doesn't it? And I'm going to dump it in here. Now this is something you can make ahead of time, at least this part with the grated sweet potatoes. I did these last night. That way today I just mixed together my ingredients. Okay, I'm going to move this out the way. And then we're going to add some evaporated milk. Now this is a whole can, but you're going to use at least either between 1/2 cup to 1 cup. So it depends on what texture you want for your souffle. So I'm just going to try and pour it in all areas of this, and then stir to make sure that it coats everything. Okay. I'm going to stop and make sure everything's mixed in nice. Just gently stir. Really delicious. It's a side dish. Kind of tastes like dessert. It's very decadent. So this is one thing that appears only once a year, and that's on Thanksgiving on my table, on my meza. Okay, and then I'm going to keep adding a little bit more. We don't need too much more. I'm going to distribute that in there. You don't want it too runny, so don't put too much in. It's just about right. There you go. A little bit more. Okay. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Every part of it is coated. That's what I was looking for. Alright, and then I'm going to put these eggs in here. Just pour them right in. And in the meantime, I have my oven preheating at 350 degrees. So that once I'm done mixing, I just go ahead and throw it in the oven. And it's that simple. It's not complicated at all, but the results are delicious. Okay? Make sure everything gets the eggs. Okay, now another secret. Now, the zest of an orange brings out the flavors of a sweet potato, either the zest or orange juice, but I find that the zest is more potent. That's why I use this. So I'm just going to dump that in there and distribute it evenly. Oh, it smells so good. Make sure I get every part of it. Okay, and then I'm going to add the cinnamon in there. Sprinkle it around, make sure every part gets it. And then I'm going to toss it around a little. Now by the time you're done cooking this dish, your house will smell heavenly. It's a dish that's a favorite in my house during Thanksgiving. And I can already smell all the flavors in there. Okay, so now that we've mixed all that in there, just make sure I get everything. Don't want to waste anything. Now that we have that in there, I'm going to go ahead and start dotting it with butter. Now this is butter that's been sitting out here. It's at room temperature, so it's easier to handle. It's a third cup of butter. I'm going to cut into little pieces. I'm going to dot, put little amounts all through the sweet potato dish. Make sure every part gets it, okay? This will also help me not stick to the bottom. And once we're done with this, we're going to put the topping over it. I know it's a little bit on the sweet side, the decadent side, and that's why I said one time a year does it. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in here. I said a third cup of sugar. Sometimes I don't use that much, okay? Because remember, the topping also has some brown sugar and you don't want to use too much. Just toss it around one more time. It smells lovely. Okay. Now I'm going to sprinkle this up here. This I made ahead of time, the topping. That way to save time, you just remember, clean hands always when you're handling food. Okay. Now this will add a little bit of crunch to the dish when you take a spoonful. And that just adds to the beauty of the dish, okay? The texture is great, smells great, looks beautiful. Now my friend Lucy Ward is the one who taught me how to make this. A great Southern belle who could cook. That lady could cook you on the table. Alright. Alright, at this point, I will take a little bit of the marshmallows and just kind of sprinkle them on top. Just kind of throw them around in there. It doesn't have to be, it's not an exact science. I just want to make sure all parts get it. Okay? Not too much now. You don't want it overpowering. The sweetness of the dish should be overpowering. You want to be able to enjoy it. Now you know what's going to happen once you bake this in the oven. These marshmallows are going to melt and make the top all ooey gooey. Just adding to the beauty of the dish. Alright, one more handful won't kill anything. Look at that. Come in close and take a look at that. If I could, I would actually eat it the way it is right now. Just say we have raw eggs in there. That's all that's stopping me because it smells incredible. Alright, and that's it. So I'm going to take this and pop it in the oven for an hour and 15 minutes, but keep going back to check and see. Just take a little bit from the corner and taste and see if the potatoes are done through. And I will be back with you to show you the finished product, and I hope to see you back soon. Welcome back. Right before the break, we threw our souffle into the oven at 350 degrees and we cooked it for an hour and 15 minutes. Now, between that time, I went ahead and checked to make sure that it was cooked, the potatoes are cooked all the way through. And also another thing I forgot to mention before the break is you cover your dish with aluminum foil. That way the marshmallows don't go ahead and cook or burn off before the dish is completed or it's finished cooking. So I went ahead and did that. I went ahead and covered it with aluminum foil and then uncovered the foil while there was 5 minutes left to the cooking process. That way the marshmallows got nice and brown, as you can see over here. And I already went ahead and served myself up a bowl. Now the house smells incredible. It smells like Thanksgiving even though it's just the beginning of November. And I'm going to take, there's some pecans and a little bit of that melted marshmallows and the souffle itself. Now this is piping hot, as you can see. It's just come out the oven, but I got a mouth of steel, baby. So let's see what it tastes like. Okay, I'm going to blow on it a little bit so I don't scald myself in front of y'all. That wouldn't be good. That is very good. There's a crunch from the coconut and the pecans, and then the orange zest that we put in there lends itself beautiful to the dish. And then the smell of it. It smells really, really, really good. The potatoes are good and done. You can see. See? Look at that. In short, my senses have been indulged. So I hope yours will be too. And I'd like for you to join me next time as I take your taste buds on a culinary safari. And always remember to think and eat outside of the box, okay? Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time.